Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show.
Good morning, the Rise Up Morning Show.
It's Tuesday. It is the 11th of November, and I am flying solo today, flying the ship all by myself, and you know what that means. First of all, it's the Chaos Elmo, because I'm going to do my best to do, all of the things. But there's a lot going on behind the scenes. And usually, the fuzzy background noise. How bad is it? Because it's really cold and the furnace is running. How bad is it? Anyway. Beyond, of course, it just being Tuesday. And beyond, let's see. Oh, wait. I know what it is. Is this any better? Did anything get any better? Maybe not. I don't know. Beyond it just being Tuesday and beyond me flying by myself and beyond it being Chaos Elmo and beyond me just going to complain about a bunch of stuff today. No better? Ah, well. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Very sorry. Maybe I'll turn the furnace off in a second. We'll give that a shot. It's also Veterans Day. So happy Veterans Day to all of my fellow veterans. Whatever you served in, whenever you served, however long you served. I personally appreciate it. And we might be in a moment when it feels like it's underappreciated, but it's not. I love you. I appreciate you. And that even extends to the people who were in the Navy. I still love you. All right. It's been a wild couple days here. We're very up and down, it seems, with all of the shutdown stuff, all of the maybe not shutdown stuff, all of the awful deal making. I mean, dude, Congress is so unbelievably bad at their jobs that I don't know, it's incredible. I wish I could be that bad at my job and still get paid. Wouldn't that be something? I really wouldn't enjoy that. Can you imagine being that bad at your job? Imagine like showing up to work and either not knowing or not caring that basically everybody who knows you exist doesn't like you because you suck at your job, and then not doing anything to improve it. Oh man, can you imagine? Anyway, so, avoiding the shutdown and now coming out that there's not going to be votes on any of the stuff that they said there was going to be votes on. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. At this point, it's really hard to pay attention. But on the crypto side of things, I was having a pretty interesting conversation with some very smart friends of mine yesterday, kind of getting ready for kicking off this new show that I'd like to start at some point in the near future, which the crappy working title, just to make sure everyone knows what I'm talking about right now, is Policy Hour. And what I really want to do with this thing is just sort of help people understand exactly what's going on in the legislative world as it relates to crypto, because as it stands, we are living under an administration that routinely declares that the United States is going to become the crypto capital of the world. And that's all well and good. But it really doesn't mean much when there's not legislative action that goes alongside it. And so far, Policy Hour with Puddle Pirates, you know it. The only Puddle Pirate Policy Hour show. Say that 5 times fast. Anyway, the only piece of legislation that we really have so far is Genius. And I think that if anyone is really excited about Genius, they are either the CEO of a major corporation or they haven't read the bill. And I really encourage you to read the bill, because Genius is really, 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 really not that good. And by not that good, I mean pretty bad. I'm I'm still kind of trying to work through it and put some stuff together. In the first like kind of kickoff episode or series of episodes therein about for Policy Hour will be about the Genius Act, because I think there's kind of a dark side there, and I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on for just a second. And I think there's a fake Rise Up Morning Show in here, Alex. Oh, there could be. Sorry, I'm gonna do my best to do all of the usual chat mods and all that kind of stuff. Normally, when I have Evan can talk, and then I can do all this sort of stuff. But anyway, first kickoffs to Policy Hour. I am. Here we go. J Heat. Let me fix that. No. Let me know if you need more permissions than that. That should be a thing. Okay. So I think we're going to kick off just by talking through Genius a little bit and trying to figure out what exactly is going on there, because here's my tinfoil hat kind of conspiracy theory first read on it. Essentially what it does is make it so that the incentives for large corporations to create their own stablecoins are quite juicy. Okay, make a ton of money. You're required to buy T-bills effectively to collateralize these things. In order to keep the peg on your stablecoin, you're going to trade those. So there's money to be made in the arbitrage of T-bills there, do it effectively, and I'm sure they will. There's tax protections there because Genius specifically prohibits you from paying out yield and interest to anybody. So there could be some sort of like competitive advantage for corporations that they would have a lot more control over with some sort of loyalty point reward system. Who knows? Whatever. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, the supply of T-bills goes down as more and more companies buy them to back their stable coins, which squeezes rates there because the scarcity of the T-bill goes up. Rates come down. Prices of the T-bills go up as people compete for the remaining ones. Here's where the tinfoil part comes on. Could be, because theoretically and typically what happens in situations like that, you've got people who then go to riskier assets to try to get the yields they're not able to get anymore in the safer places. And so not only do you have all these rules that are beneficial for these giant companies who have been donating a tremendous amount to this administration, they will then get incentivized to make their own stablecoins, do their own thing, blah, 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 whatever. We all get pushed theoretically into riskier assets like cryptocurrencies, which is also good for them because a lot of them hold various things on their balance sheet, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., Solana. That all can push more retail money into that market. Couple that with some nonsense stimulus, which who knows if that's ever going to happen. The math doesn't math at all, but when has that ever stopped anyone? And so then those asset prices could continue to go up after pushing retail in, after cratering everything for long enough to let all the big guys buy whatever they want, because as we know, on-chain data shows us that buying has continued. There is still accumulation. There has been constantly. We've also then got all of the other pieces of legislation just kind of mysteriously languishing on the Hill, which is really interesting because, as a comment from DeFi Mojo here points out, Clarity is kind of an interesting piece of legislation. As the name implies, it's trying to help bring a little bit of better understanding to a couple things, which enforcement agencies, which enforcement bodies have the responsibility to enforce laws in and around different pieces of the crypto industry. In order for that to really matter, we would have to have some laws that are any kind of worthwhile. Right now, all we're really doing is just ignoring laws in place. We're kind of just looking the other way. But on paper, pretty much all this crypto stuff is still as illegal as it was 2 years ago. Nothing has really changed. There's a few pieces of legislation that have been proposed that are decent, but they're just stuck. They're not going anywhere. Genius is the one that rammed straight through. That's the one with the big, corporate incentive. So I saw a TDS comment. It's not TDS. It's just reading. I'm just kind of good at reading, and I read some stuff. And now I'm talking to you about the stuff I read, and I encourage you to read. Reading is good. You learn stuff. And if you can combine reading with a little critical thinking, I mean, that's a superpower at this point. So, waiting on the Senate. Yep. Going to continue to do that. These things have like bipartisan support. It's really interesting to see them languishing. By that, I mean, just sort of sitting there, we'll see once, both houses of Congress come back into session. We'll see if we get any meaningful pushes there, but I don't know. The other interesting stuff that's kind of come out is some of the requirements for backing for stablecoins needing to be 100% American-based assets, which is interesting because that's not really the way that it's always gone. And that actually kind of puts USDC in a really interesting situation. And here's something that I would encourage you to jump down into the rabbit hole on, because this is what I'm doing. I definitely don't know enough to have like a very educated conversation. Certainly not to pontificate about this next piece here, but this is where I'm putting that reading stuff to the test. This is where I'm focusing now. If this is potentially problematic for USDC, then the obvious conspiracy theory is that this is all meant to just benefit World Liberty Financial and their stablecoin, which has no shot of being competitive unless you find a way to kneecap USDC and Tether. And so if you can kneecap the two of those things and get them out of here, or make it at the very least so that Americans are more incentivized to use USD1. I mean, right? It's not going to be RLUSD. It's just not. There is no world in which it is. I used to think that was more of a sure thing, and then they made their own. And it's just, I'm sorry, man, I don't make the rules. It's just not. RLUSD has made almost no meaningful strides to take any market share away from Tether and Circle. And now with USD1 being obviously the favorite child from all of that, from that side of the house, RLUSD really seems like it kind of got left out in the cold. And we'll see. I mean, there's enough fans, maybe something, but, it could also just become the next XRP. Where there's enough to keep it going. There's enough momentum to keep it in the conversation all the time. It has a killer brand, and there's a ton of people that really, really like it and want to see it happen, but none of those people really have the capacity to do anything about it. And so all they do is just kind of talk about it on social media, and then nothing ever happens. You know what I mean? It's a bummer, because it would be cool just to see things run as they deserve to run, instead of literally at this point, it feels like instead of trying to figure out like which projects are fundamentally sound and who has like the most compelling use case and who's doing the best job with branding and who's doing all this stuff right, instead of that being the number one thing that matters, the number one thing that matters is like, how much does the administration like you? Because the manipulation is coming from the top. And that's unfortunate. Comment from Reactants: we need more decentralization in this world. That's the answer. It's really hard. It's really hard. But I do believe it's inevitable, because I think that you can only push people so far. And I'm glad that I'm starting to see more and more conversations. I was talking about yesterday on the show, we were talking about Perk Insights, our friend of the show, Erica, her video about her bank. It was just an anecdotal example of depositing a check and the bank putting it on hold for whatever it was, 12 days. Why? I'll tell you why. Great question, Alex. No problem, Alex. Why is because the bank wants some time to make money with your money before you get the chance to do anything with your money. I mean, why else would you give an asset to a business whose entire profit model relies on them having access to your money and not having to give you anything back for it? There you go. They want to do stuff with your money before you get a chance to do stuff with your money. Also, there's the side effect that the money doesn't actually really exist. So I guess we can make up some processing time to make it seem like, I don't know, we're doing something real. Mike says, that's not totally fair. I get 0.00001% back. That's a pretty sweet interest rate, dude. That's that killer CFI APY right there. Cosmic says crypto bros don't care about decentralization anymore. They only care about their bags pumping. That is true, and that has been the case ever since crypto made its way into politics, because it's from both sides. I really strongly dislike the way that almost every single politician is approaching this whole thing. On the Republican side of the fence, it's a lot more simple. It's a lot more streamlined. Crypto adds velocity to money, and it also widens the pool of people who will speculate on something because of the potential for it to explode. So the griftability with crypto is through the roof. It's so much easier. Sweet, great. That's the case. That's honestly pretty easy to track. On the Democratic side, it's a lot more convoluted, and none of it makes any sense. So it's like a combination of, remember that reading thing we were just talking about? It's a combination of them like not knowing how to read or just refusing to. This is, okay, so I'm sorry, sidebar, side tangent. Can you imagine being in Congress and having access to the most informed, smartest people in the world who you can summon to talk to you and teach you about anything you want to learn about, and not doing that? Imagine if you like were creating rules and laws that governed millions upon millions upon millions of people, and you made those laws about stuff and you refused to learn about the stuff. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and that's Congress. So you have all these Democrats who, according to party definition, platform definition, should be really into DeFi. Guess who's not into DeFi? Democrats. That doesn't make any sense. If you think about like and again, bear with me here because we're talking about the on paper definition of the party, not like the actual in practice, walk the walk for the parties. And I'm kind of getting to the splinters here, but like progressives specifically, right? Progressives specifically on paper should be all about DeFi. All those people should be out there talking about, the institution that is DeFi. It's the answer to everything they've been complaining about for years. That right there, honestly, is kind of like all the proof that I needed to know that none of this really means anything. And we're not going to see anything meaningful out of Washington with regards to crypto. I've sent a number of letters to Democratic representation, like my own representation, and then also just, like people who I know are louder and people who I know are more influential. And I've gotten like crickets back. There's like 3 people in the entire, like both houses of Congress that are interested in talking about real DeFi, which is crazy because they shouldn't have an incentive to push like big money stuff, but they do, because money has corrupted politics, and it's only going to get worse because no one's making any rules against it, and they're in charge of enforcing whatever rules they don't make against it. And go figure, they don't care about themselves getting richer. And then on the Republican side, there's like, hey, you know what? We can grift people with this shit forever. So, let's pretend to have it out for the little guy with crypto, but in reality, oh my God, have you seen how much money we can make from this thing? And off you go. So you have one side grifting and the other side with their heads so far up their ass they can see out their nose. And that's why Genius is the only thing that got passed, because that one is easy to understand. It benefits big business. Welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show, where it's just Alex today, which means that I'm going to complain the entire time. And I appreciate all the comments, enjoying the rant. It's always a good show when you can sit here and just bash on Congress, because we can do better with the congressional hate. We can do better leaving them bad reviews. There needs to be like public profiles for their. I mean, I know this exists, but like a more readily available one where we can just leave Yelp reviews and rate them, 1 to 5 stars. Thanks, Doug. You know what's amazing? I made someone a mod in the TikTok stuff, and now they can pin comments. Guess who can't pin comments? The guy running the live stream. Can't do it. I love it though. Please feel free. Bullish on the Alex soapbox. Thank you so much. Shout out to Bearded over on Twitter, telling us that crypto, or that in the DeFi camp, DeFi carrots APY is like low today, and it's still over 7%, 7.13%. Shout out for our official Rise Up Carrot officer of the morning show, Bearded. Thank you. Really quick, thanks for everyone for tuning in, for hanging out, for listening. If you have a question, please feel free to throw it in. I am reading both of the chats. I'm going to do my absolute best to reply to as many comments as possible. I see you. I love you all. I appreciate you. I'm flying solo today. I do want to take just a quick second and say that because this is a show where it's going to happen, if during the course of the show you have a question about crypto, about DeFi, about wallets, about cold storage, about staking, about earning yield, about any of this kind of stuff, first of all, please feel free. I will answer as many as possible. If I can't get to it, if I don't get to it, if I miss something, I am sorry. It's not personal. Please feel free to jump into our totally free to join community hosted in Circle. We recently moved from Discord to Circle because Discord was just getting very unsafe. It was really, really hard to keep people safe, especially newer people who have not used platforms like this before. You're just getting bombarded with scams. It's awful. So we moved to Circle. You can join for free at community.rumshq.com. I appreciate you guys, and you can throw any questions in. There's tons of super helpful people. The show is made possible by some sponsors. For the first time in I'm going to rant just another tiny little bit. For the first time in 5 years, I can actually say that the show has sponsors and partners, and that's super, super exciting because it's really nice to earn a living doing the stuff that you love. This is what I love doing, and it's exciting that this year is the first year where we're gonna get to pay ourselves a little bit. We've made a lot of upgrades to the show, so money had to go there first. We hired Tori. That was so important, and we need to make sure that can stay a thing for a good minute because she's doing great work and it's so helpful. But also, we have partners now. The Rise Up Morning Show is partnered with Polygon, helping spread the word about all of the things that they've been working on annoyingly quietly for years. It's time to get a little unquiet, and also primarily kicking off a campaign on their behalf for user-generated content, also referred to as UGC. If you have the desire to compete for a little money, because they're paying people, I got to tell you, the bar is so low. Like, create something. If you need help making the content, let me know. I will help you for free. And then you can enter into the running to win some money. Polygon is paying people to make content about Polygon. I think that they expect to see one kind of thing. I think that they want to see, people talking about apps and the protocol and whatever, but I think it would be cool to talk about stories, like to share your experience in the industry and, the learning journey, and then use the fact that Polygon has been quietly working on a bunch of stuff to send you down some rabbit holes, see what's going on, talk about it, make a video about it, and maybe earn a little bit of money. Did you replace Nil since he ran away? Nil's working. He has stepped back a little bit from creating content because he is a super busy person. And actually, Nil's content journey was very largely an experiment to see whether or not this kind of social media was good for these brands. And spoiler alert, it is. And honestly, that's part of the reason that I'm here right now. We're also partnered with Arculus, helping bring people better, safer, more streamlined, and more efficient cold storage solutions. So if you'd like to learn about cold storage, about how to protect your assets, because not only is DeFi inevitable, not only is decentralization the answer to all this corruption that we've been talking about here, but I don't trust any of those people. And that's why I don't store any of the assets that I'd like to keep long-term in a place that's easily stealable from. Cold storage is the answer. I have been using it ever since I got into crypto. I always tell people wallets are a little expensive. It's not the cheapest thing in the world. Using the code RUMS10 with Arculus, you can get 10% off of a wallet, but there's still a few bucks. I always tell people, if you have enough money that you would be really, really sad to lose it, it's worth it to look at cold storage. If you'd like any help with wallet setup, if you have questions about how the security works, if you have questions about one versus another, why would you choose this one? Why would you choose that one? What makes them different? What makes them the same? Let me know. I'm happy to help. Purple Wallet update. We are collecting names and handing them off to Arculus. I guess just to kind of establish interest in the purple wallet. The good news is that thing's happening. There's way too much. I'm actually really excited by how many people are excited about it, because I'm excited about it. Can you not wait to store your Bitcoin and have all of our smiling faces on a purple card? I mean, I just think that's super cool. We are also sponsored by Jito. We've talked about Jito a lot this week because, as I have been doing a lot more DeFi ranting, Jito is a platform that offers quite a bit of different DeFi stuff. You can get into so many things over there. On the simple side, if staking is your flavor, staking is your flavor. Single-sided staking, liquid staking. From there, you can graduate. One of the reasons that I was chasing Jito down, I've been chasing them down for a hot minute to try to work together, is because that platform specifically is one where you can level up your DeFi game, where you can start from, what we would call level 0, level 1, become a confident crypto user with the basics: how to use a wallet, how to send a transaction, how to approve a transaction, how to get some basic information from a blockchain explorer, how to confirm you're sending this to the right place and you're doing what you mean to do. But then from there, you can level it up, and there's just so many more things that you can do. This DeFi thing, the reason that this is so inevitable is because this is the game that centralized finance plays. This is the game that traditional finance plays. Traditional finance takes money from you. They offer you something in return to make you feel like it's worthwhile, whether that's just security, whether that's some kind of interest rate, whether that's, I don't know, investment opportunities, reward points, who knows, whatever it is. But on the back end, they're using that money, they're doing all sorts of stuff with it. And then DeFi got, started to grow, and these options started to work their way into the crypto space. Things that you can do with your Solana, with your ETH, with your Bitcoin, with your stablecoins, all this sort of stuff. And now the same people who have been doing that thing hidden behind the curtain for so long are talking shit about us doing it over here. Because the problem is that the barrier to entry is lowered. And now anybody can participate with literally just a couple bucks. That's a huge threat to an extremely profitable machine that really relies on you not knowing how it works and you not being able to participate. And that's why DeFi is inevitable. That's why I chased Jito down. I met them at a conference at Consensus earlier this year. Had a really interesting conversation. Told them I would love to get him on the show. And here we are, 8-9 months later. So pretty stoked about that. The Rise Up Morning Show is also powered by Unlock DAO. Rocking the hoodie today because it's freezing here today. And they just sent me this thing and it's super warm and comfy. And I'm always in the market for another black hoodie. Unlock is really cool because actually I found this one because I want to use Unlock for Rise Up. They have some really cool token options for memberships or like certifications. The technical term is on-chain attestation, meaning on a blockchain, you can attest that something has been completed. You know how we're always talking about like POAP, like you can have a POAP, a proof of attendance protocol token to prove that you did something. This is like how you can build whole systems to do that for your business or your club. If you just have like a book club and you want to do something, you could do that. You could do that here too. And that's why I picked up on it, because I was like, oh man, I would love to be able to do that. I would love to be able to teach classes through Rise Up and then be able to give people like an on-chain resume to prove which classes they've taken and what they've learned and what they've accomplished. And then, I mean, you kind of like you build this scrapbook of different tokens on chain in wallets so that you can keep track of where you've been, and you have immutable proof that you did it. That's really the cool part. You can't lose that. Even if you lost the wallet, even if you lost the computer, it would still be on chain and you would still be able to prove that you did a thing. And that's one of the many reasons that I am obsessed with this tech. So we chase Unlock down. I'm really excited about that one because we're actually going to use the product, the service with Rise Up. And so this particular sponsorship is going to kind of go through like the whole the journey, the exercise of us like onboarding ourselves and then getting to use it in real life and kind of give them feedback and and talk about it. So if you're interested in exploring, please feel free, and please share your feedback, and I can pass it directly to them. If there's anything you really like, anything you don't like, all of it's fair game. Man. And of course, we are supported by our friend, the White Whale. Shout out to the White Whale for his help, for his friendship, for helping. Honestly, it was so serendipitous that partnership started while he was like fighting with MEXC, because MEXC is the one exchange that I also have beef with. If you guys remember back in time, a few years, one of the many startups that I failed was a game studio, and MEXC was actually the holder of my grant that I got to build that. And then when I wouldn't launch a token to go along with it to raise more money, they dropped me and pulled the rest of the grant and canceled everything and rugged the business. So that one, actually, I don't call going out of business, because I got put out of business. But you know what? It's okay. Is it like a patent? Solemn, are you talking about, is that about unlock? Or is that something else? I'm sorry. Okay, man, that was a healthy rant. Thank you so much for bearing with me through all that. Unlock, is it like a patent? No, not necessarily, but I could totally see how we could head that direction. Just because patents require, all sorts of specific permitting. I really don't know very much about patent law, but I'll tell you what, if that's of interest, I will absolutely get a patent attorney to talk about it. I know it's actually Jillian. I see you down there. Maybe you know something about it. Maybe you can toss a comment out there. Oh, okay. Well, apparently oh, there we go. All right, I fixed it. All right, give me just 2 seconds here. I've seen a bunch of comments come through, and I've missed every single one of them. Amsfar says, same, but for dog training and verifiable training. Honestly, yeah, super cool. You'd be able to store any and all of that kind of stuff on chain. It would be immutable forever. Another really big one is academic transcripts, especially for students who don't really have access to a bunch of like safe infrastructure for them to store their academic achievements. You would also be able to do the same thing for like property ownership in countries where it's really, really hard to maintain documentation that you own something. You would be able to prove immutably that whatever it is yours, because you could tokenize that relationship and you could cement it on chain forever. Yet another reason why it's an uphill battle, because I mean, I don't know about you, but I can think of at least a couple, many billion-dollar over companies, empires, regimes, whatever, that probably would not really be super into that. So there's another problem. Aztec says, can you talk about Lido and its purpose? Absolutely, we can. So Lido, actually here, let me throw it on the big screen. I probably can't do both at the same time, but I will do my best to talk through it. If you head over to new friend of the show, not sponsor, friend of the show, Lido, DeFi Llama, and search Lido, you can pull up their profile page and you can get all of their information. So they are a behemoth in the DeFi space, over $30 billion of TVL. Lido is liquid staking for Ethereum and Polygon. That's it. It's a staking service provider, the biggest behemoth. So along with that comes security, along with that comes reliability, and as far as like its purpose in the space, I mean they're the custodian of lots of staking contracts. As we're starting to see staking services roll out for exchange traded products, ETPs, like the ETFs in the United States especially, someone's going to need to facilitate the stake for those, and there's a pretty decent chance that Lido's up there, just given their size. But if you wanted to learn more about them, DeFi Llama has a great page. If you literally just search LIDO at the top, off you go. Didn't even need the screen share. All right. RLUSD grew 1,000% this year. USDC and USDT grew 30 to 20. Okay. So percentages are great, and I think they are super important. And if that's accurate, then that's one good metric that you can use to sort of gauge comparisons. The other would just be size. So if something that is $10 grows 1,000% and something that is 50 billion grows 30%, one of those is not like the other. So just remember that you have to compare like overall size, because something brand new that starts from nil growing is kind of expected, especially when you have the brand presence that Ripple Labs RLUSD as a product XRP has. Then it makes perfect sense. And earlier in the show, when I was talking about it, it was not to say that it's like non-existent or going to fail, just to say that they have an uphill battle as well as a company, and companies fight dirty. So we'll see how it goes. But I mean, can you think of a single real reason why you would be more incentivized to like move your personal stablecoin holdings from USDC to RLUSD? Are there like really good yield products that I'm unaware of where you can like earn pretty solid interest with your RLUSD? Because I'm not aware of any. Audits, okay. Circle is a publicly traded U.S. company, along with Coinbase. Coinbase owns half of them. They have a revenue sharing model there, and Circle is also an audited public company. Ripple Labs is not a public company. There's a difference. So, and then like I said, the thing that the consumer, like me, I'm talking about myself here. The thing that I care about the most there is, what are my options? I don't, as for the follow-up question, are any of them non-trustworthy? That's kind of a subjective question. I am less inclined to trust a private company than a public one. Not to say that all public companies are great, because plenty of public companies do plenty of shady shit. But are they non-trustworthy? That's really hard to say. That would kind of depend on you. That would depend on you being as informed as possible so that you can make a critical decision. USDC and USDT are not companies, so it's not relevant. I hate to break it to you. USDC and USDT are both products of companies. The first company for USDC there is Circle. They are a publicly traded American company whose primary product is the USDC stablecoin. That is absolutely a company. Their token is ingrained into almost every facet of the crypto world at this point. Sorry, Iceman, maybe I'm not following what you mean by not companies, not products. RLUSD is also just a product from a company that just so happens to be not public. This is it's a good conversation. I appreciate the comments. And again, I would I would encourage everyone to do some digging and have the conversation. I think that DeFi is inevitable. I think the biggest thing standing in its way is education. We don't know enough. Companies would not exist without the products. That's true. Okay. Daniel Baker over on YouTube says, the last time I saw a company put as much money into politics, it led to Sam Bankman going to jail. Just saying. They were well known because a lot of us are chronically online in that world, but there are plenty of companies that have paid a tremendous amount into politics. Many not loudly, many quietly. To be very honest, Sam was putting money into politics because he was doing a bunch of shady shit and he was trying to buy protection. And it worked for a while, but, caught up eventually. Solo, Alex, you got this. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is great. I have the opportunity to just sit here and literally complain about everything. I have a lot to complain about. I appreciate all of you for being here and hanging in. I know I'm not being the single most attentive steward of the chats today, but it's wonderful to see you all here. I appreciate all the comments, reading as many of them as I can. And actually, I just realized I had a guest request. So let's see how this works as I drive. Mike, if you're still in here, I'll bring you up. What's up, dude? Oh, hold on. Everybody. Mike, I think it's me. I don't think it's you. Can you say something? Can anyone on TikTok hear Mike? Is it my fault or is it Mike's fault? I think it's my fault. You guys can hear. Okay, why can't I hear him? Hold on. Hold your horses. I don't know. Let's do it the old-fashioned way. There we go. Mike, how's it going? Nope, never mind. That didn't work. Oh my God. Evan! Evan! Okay, I'm glad that you guys can hear. I'm trying to figure out why I can't hear him because everything's plugged in. I'm doing the thing. I'm doing all the things. Was it that? Nope, wasn't that. Mike, entertain the people while I ruin the podcast land recording. Try to figure out why the heck this isn't working. Mike, if you're in a position to join the StreamYard instead, I could put you on that way, and that would solve all of these problems. Okay, I'm gonna send you the link. Thank you, my friend. Let's grab this and send this. Entertain yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves for just a second while I do this. There we go. Hopefully I didn't tell him where I was going to send it, but there you go. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what that was. There had to be something, right? There had to be something. It couldn't just work. And as far as I'm concerned, everything that should be turned on is turned on. So I'm going to have to ask Evan about that one later. He does have a nice voice. I'm annoyed that I can hear it. Yeah, mutant. I don't know, man. It was something. He was serenading me. Yeah, don't you have to use StreamYard? Yes. Oh, he was even offering to do StreamYard before I even said it. What a guy. Sorry, Mike, it's in your Twitter DMs. I can send it somewhere else, though, if you want. It's a great fake radio show. It is, right? Like, where'd you send it? I know, I realized after you hopped off that I said I forgot to tell you where I sent it. All right. While we let Mike route to his Twitter DMs and grab the StreamYard link, Aztec asks, what is your favorite project, crypto-wise, that you have hopes for? Okay, I'm going to answer that without going on a tirade and a rant about how sad I am that these fundamentals and, like, you know, what makes a good project kind of don't matter right now. I have a couple favorites. So big, like the boring cop-out answer, but it's genuinely true. Right now, the Solana ecosystem is what I'm the most interested in. It's been that way for a long time, but it's interesting to watch a brand or a project, a company like that build in crypto and hit all of the things that I think are important. And right now, we're not really seeing that from many people. So what you have are users. Key point there. People exist in the ecosystem and they do stuff, whether they do a bunch of it, whether they stay somewhere for long, whatever. At the end of the day, there are people there and they use things. The protocols and the chain, so the chain itself and then the apps in that chain's ecosystem make money, and it's growing. And they are also doing brand building. They also market. There's a lot to love. Smaller projects genuinely unlock one of the coolest things that exists out there because it's like genuinely useful and it sort of like puts into a consumer friendly wrapper an integral piece of this whole blockchain tech thing that genuinely improves people's lives. Profit taking wise, I own Bitcoin, I own Ethereum, I own Solana, and as the markets pump, I take profits. So, you know, I was buying Sol in the 150s. It touched 170 yesterday. I took some profit there. If it goes back down again, I'll do the same thing, rinse and repeat, back and forth forever. All right, Mike is in, and let's bring him up. And Mike, if I can't hear you, I'm going to cry. I think, did you mute on purpose just to come in and be quiet? Because this one's on you. This one's on you.
All right, hold up. Can you hear me
there?
now?
Yes.
Thank God. Okay.
Oh
cool.
man.
Nightmare. What's up, man? You're doing a great job, by the way. And happy
Thanks.
Veterans Day. Thank you for your service. Appreciate everything you've done.
It's my pleasure.
Right on.
I love the hat, dude. That's
yeah,
killer.
well, because the product that I want to talk to you about today is holiday related. So I wanted to make sure I was dressed up properly.
For context, Mike. Oh, and okay, TikTok. You guys can hear him. Great. I forgot to ask. That's my bad.
I could join
Mike.
there too. Just muted there. Yeah. What's up?
Mike is a prolific builder and experimenter, especially of just fun little apps and products. Mike is one of my favorite developers in the entire industry because everything he builds is like intended to be used by regular people, and that's super exciting. So when Mike says he has a product to share, this isn't just like some guy who pops up to shill something. I'm gonna let him shill because he builds super fun little things, including, thank you for your service, including helpful tools that have helped me raise some money for the rescue. So that's always exciting. So take it away.
Right on. Yeah, the one you're referring to, Pautherium, is like a DAO that's dedicated just for raising funds with crypto to help animal welfare organizations. And so actually there's another, I don't know if the DAO's got in touch with you or not, but there's another proposal to send more funds to blah, 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 blah. So
oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be really cool. This time though that I'm hopping on to show you is it's an app that I've used with my family and friends around the holiday season in the past, and it's to help like gift coordinating because in the past, like my sisters had Google Docs and like my parents had Google Docs, and like we had like side chats to figure out who's buying what for who, and it got like it's just like too much for me. So I made an app for us to kind of manage our registries. But this year I've brought it on chain, and that opens up a whole bunch of different possibilities. And I kind of want to talk to you about it, maybe show you guys what it looks like. And then also the people who might be like tuning out now, being like, oh, boring. There's $60,000 that's dedicated just to making purchases for people's wish lists on chain. Yeah. So so like you might get something for Christmas because of this, right? So, or whatever it is you celebrate.
Super cool.
Yeah. So I'll kind of talk about how all of that works. So the app is called Wishlist. The website is wishlist.holiday. You can find it on Farcaster as a mini app, the base app as a mini app. And basically, like I said, like there's like 60 grand. I'll talk about how that works in a minute, but all you do is you click create a wish list, you enter the link of something you want. So these are all the things I've entered. These are the things I actually want for Christmas. You can see a StreamYard subscription. It ain't cheap.
That's true.
So I've just added a bunch of stuff. Actually, I added a little boo-boo this morning. But the idea is that your whole family puts what they want for Christmas, and then you can make an exchange with just your family and friends. And so this is what I want, this is what my sister wants. And so everything is going to be right here so we can kind of coordinate together, which is going to be great. So that's like the utility part of it. It's kind of like sign up to get stuff for your family and friends. So you could say like, I'll be the one to get this. And then everybody else will know that it's like, you know, you're the one getting this thing. And so they don't get it. But if you're this, you know, if you were this user, you wouldn't see who's getting you stuff. It's kind of like the utility of it. So that's kind of like why it exists. But then when you bring it on chain, you could do a whole bunch of other stuff. So there's a token for it called Wish. And as users trade that, there's a treasury that's growing. With every trade, there's a little fee. And so the treasury grows with 100% of the trading fees going towards purchasing items on people's wish lists. And so I've been going live on X, on Farcaster, on the base app, and we've been using like this provably fair raffle system to pick a couple of users. And so last week we gave away a dresser. You can see all the different things that we've given away on the homepage. And the goal is to get, you know, all these funds deployed by hopefully, you know, by like the first couple of weeks of December so that it gets to people by December 25th. But yeah, this dresser here was like $1,000. So we got this dresser for, who is this, Starl3xx.eth. So I just got in touch on Farcaster. Say, hey, you won. He was ecstatic. He posted about it. Same thing with Beer Guy. Beer Guy wanted a cap gun, like a toy gun, and a beer belt. So that's what we got him. So yeah, just write what you want for Christmas, and hopefully you win.
Dude, that's so cool. I could totally see this being this could be a really cool thing for kids like in the foster system. Because it's I know there's a bunch of organizations and charities and nonprofits and stuff that work on, you know, helping kids get things for Christmas, especially if they're in the system. And they're kind of hard to track down. It's kind of hard to facilitate and organize that whole thing. This is sweet. I dig it.
Cool. Well, yeah, I just wanted to come on, let folks know that it exists, and that if you're thinking about, you know, what you want for the holidays, put it together. Wishlist.holiday.
Dude, shout out for the dot holiday.
Right?
There's something
I'm always
there.
trying to find.
There's
There's something there.
Cool, man. How's everything else going? How's more broadly, how's work? What have you been up to?
Work is great.
Besides
We're
being
base
Crypto Santa.
Yeah, base app is pushing towards release by the end of the year to the general public. So if you haven't gotten in there already, you should be able to get in there fairly soon. And it's getting better and better week over week. There's like a demo every Friday, and you see what like everybody across the team is working on. And there's some really cracked developers, from all parts of the stack, from the chain to the app, to the DevRel, to the the go-to-marketing team. Like everybody's cooking, and so I'm really excited to show everybody what we've built over the past year. So,
Tori wants to know if you could use this for Secret Santa. In theory, I would say. I mean, it seems like it, right? Because what's the ID that you're posting there? It's just like your social media profile handle. So you have like an anonymous.
Yeah, you could sign in with anything, right? Like Google or whatever. But it makes a wallet for you on the back end. You can use whatever wallet you use to. But yeah, you could use it for Secret Santa because the person who's receiving the gift doesn't know who got it for them. Everybody else knows.
Okay.
But you don't know. Yeah. So yeah, you could use it for Secret Santa.
I know. So you've spun up a bunch of. I mean, a lot of your apps I feel like are literally just things that you want and need, which lead to great developments. Because I know you've done. See what you had the bill splitting app, right? I think about that one a lot.
Yeah, when I first got hired at Base, I had like 6 months where like the directive was basically like build a bunch of different stuff, like every week build something, and like let's see if anything catches fire. And nothing really caught fire except for like the last week of my contract. It was literally a few days before Christmas, so Christmas was a Tuesday, and on Saturday night at 9 p.m. I'm out at a bar and I get a group chat and Jesse's in it, and he's like, I need a way to gift people crypto for Christmas. And it's like 9 p.m. on Saturday, Christmas is Tuesday. So I spent all day Sunday building it. That's what turned into onchaingift.com. And that actually got a lot of legs. A lot of people were using it. You could basically put, a bunch of different digital assets into one link. So, pile in NFTs, pile in meme coins, whatever it is you want. And then you could give that link or, turn that link into a QR code and give it to anybody. They don't have to have a wallet. They scan the link, they open up the gift pack, it shoots all the different coins out, right? And then you can spin up a wallet right there if you don't have one with the Coinbase Smart Wallet, or you could sign into whatever wallet you currently own, and then you can just collect those things and put them into your wallet. So that was actually really useful. And then there was some other creators, like, I don't know if you're familiar with Patrick Collins, but he's like a Web3 educator. He does a lot of tutorials on Solidity. He runs his own auditing service called Cypherin. He's an ex-Chainlink guy. He was doing a lot of those like onboarding videos that Jesse Pollock was doing of trying to get people on chain. He was using my app. And so I was like very happy about that. It just so happened that like that was like the last week of my contract, and then I came on full time, and now I've been like working on the base app ever since.
Sure. Gotcha. Yeah. No, it's cool. There's a comment here from Aztec that I think actually you'd probably be better at answering than me. So the question is, I need help building an app. Can you help? So my first instinct, and Mike, I'll turn it over to you, would be, I think at this point, given the access that we have to these different vibe coding platforms, I think anybody can spin up like a prototype. And I would say 100% do that. I've been really happy with the way that Replit. I keep meaning to like start up and use different ones. I want to do some experimenting with some different platforms and stuff. But I've been like, for building blockchain Basecamp, it's been all in Replit, and it's incredible what you can do with just like simple conversational prompts back and forth between the agents, especially the way that it's spread out now. You have your planning agent, your building agent, all that sort of stuff. But Replit, lovable. I'd like to try Caffeine AI. That is, there's a few. I don't know, Mike, do you have any other, like, do you have any, as a developer, do you have any that stick out to you as being, better or worse?
Yeah, there's a few that I guess you could say are more like advanced. If you're already a developer and you're familiar how this stuff works, like I use Cursor every single day.
Cursor, okay.
Yeah, that's like the big one. Claude Code is another one. I mean, we have Claude Code is a bot that like we use at Base, and so we'll be talking in Slack about a feature, right? We'll be going back and forth with each other, just talking normally in English, and somebody will dump in some metrics like, this is why I think this is a good idea. Here's the data that backs it up. Somebody else will come out and say, well, here's a few different data points that counter that argument. People can hop in and just be like, hey, Claude, like create a proposal based on everything you've seen in this thread. It will create one. You could even say like, create a PR and make this feature something we can play with right now. And it'll just do it. Like, it is incredible. And, I think right now we're waiting maybe like 30 minutes for a pull request to get made, but we didn't write any of that code. Like Claude wrote it all. There's a whole bunch of different like guardrails and things in place where like humans review it and stuff like that, make sure that it's safe. And like you can pull it down and you can refactor it a bit if you need to. But the fact that we could go from English to code is insane, especially on like a big code, like professional code base like this. And so, if somebody needs help building an app, like there's so many resources. Claude Code and Cursor are a little bit more advanced. Replit, like what you mentioned, is really cool. I haven't heard of Caffeine. I need to look into it. But I would suggest if you've never done any coding before, maybe start with Replit. Because I would say like the biggest hurdle in the beginning is getting something spun up on your computer that works. Replit puts it all in the browser, so you don't need to do anything with your computer other than just like open up Chrome and go to Replit, and you're off to the races.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that side, but no, it is so easy. I mean, and I like the flow of the prompt, right? Because you start off with just like what are you trying to build? Write it in a sentence, and it doesn't even start doing anything until it starts asking you questions. So it's a good like little back and forth. Shows you a prototype, you kind of tweak it, whatever, send it, and now I'm at the point where I can write a prompt, send a thing, and then walk away, and it's going to work for like 45 minutes to an hour by itself. And it's cool. You can watch the whole thing live. It like puts it up on the screen, and you can watch it clicking through, and then it annotates everything it's doing too. So you really pick up I've picked up a lot of helpful hints and tips that have helped me talk to it more effectively, just because I understand, a little bit more dev speak. You learn a little bit more of the lingo, because the more specific, as with all AIs, right? The more specific you can get in the prompt, the better your results are going to be.
Yeah, and you could also ask it like, hey, like explain to me how this is working and treat me like an intern, or, treat me like a high school student, and it will do that, and like sometimes I see some pretty gigabrain stuff floating around in a code base, and I'll ask, I'm like, what is this, what is this doing? Or why was it chosen to do this way over like a way that I would think about doing it? And be like, Mike, the way you're thinking about doing it is like, 10 times slower. Like this is a much better way to do it. And I'd be like, today I learned, So it's like, use it as an education tool as well. And that's how you can get a lot better. But I think that most people who are asking this question of like, how can I get started building something? I don't think, and this is me generalizing, I don't think they want to know that stuff. I think they want to take the thing that's in their brain and put it out into the world. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As long as you're not doing something like, there's people who like put like a bunch of like personal identifiable information in a Firestore database that like got leaked. I forgot what app that was, but as long as you, yeah. So, as long as you're being responsible about it, like, I think it's great. And, so I'm not saying you should go out there and like learn how to do that stuff. It's just there if you want it. So, if you want to build something, the tools are out there. You can get started for free most of the time. And, as long as it works and it looks good and people, you're solving a problem people need to use your app for, like that's what matters.
Shout out to Tech CEO, the official mug salesman of the Rise Up Morning Show, who also has a product, the AI and Crypto Directory. I know Index is a whole bunch of different helpful tools and has little blips and blurbs about them. I assume that you've got some of these, at least a section for, you know, the agents and stuff. But that would be another killer resource to learn about some of the tools that are out there and available, what you can do with them and all that sort of stuff. And then I agree, literally just go experiment and use them together. Like when I want to write, if I'm struggling to like get or figure out how I want to phrase a prompt, like to Replit, working on Basecamp or something, I'll just ask Claude or Perplexity, you know, like, hey, I'm trying to prompt Replit to do this, and here's like what I need. Can you help me write a prompt that would be more effective? And then it kills it.
Isn't that crazy,
dude? Yeah, just put them against each other. I was gonna ask you, because it sounds like the way you're describing all this kind of stuff, you know, one of the things we hear, one of the fear points is, you know, that AI is coming for everybody's job. And I think developers have been kind of at the center of a lot of that, just because, you know, AI is so effective at coding that there's fear there. But to me, like, whenever I hear about like real engineers doing, I mean, my dad does it all the time. I'm hearing you talk about it now. Like, it feels like what that does is just like level up and make unbelievably lethal the engineers that repurpose all that stuff like to work for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think Brian Armstrong put something out there where it's like, you know, using these AI tools to get 10 times more like fast and better is now a part of your job requirement. So if you're not doing this, like, something is really wrong, and we need to figure out what's going on here. As far as like job security goes, I put out this tweet. When did I do this? In May. And I think it's still pretty true. So, and for the folks who probably can't see it on TikTok, I could just read it out loud. Oh, my screen's not actually up on. Yeah. But it says, in the beginning, pilots, like airline pilots, were former mechanics. And now they have automated tools that make flying safer, despite having less knowledge of the plane's inner workings than before. So the pilot's job actually evolved from a hands-on aviator mechanic to a systems manager and safety strategist. And I think there's definitely a lot of parallels there with software. You know, back in the day, programmers knew every single byte that was stored in memory to make that application work. And they were writing in assembly code. They were down at the metal, and it was painful. I mean, you can even go back further and use punch cards. Like, it was painful, it was slow, but they knew every single bit of how it worked. You go up higher and higher in the stack now as time evolves. A lot of that stuff's taken care of for you. If you're writing in JavaScript, it's actually getting compiled down to C. You might never have written C in your life, but all the memory and stuff is being allocated for you. You don't have to worry about garbage collection, anything like that. Your job is actually evolving. And if this just kind of naturally takes its course, you know, you're going to evolve into more of like a systems manager and safety strategist. That's essentially what you're going to become. But this is going to be blending a lot of different worlds together. Like, now you're going to be expected to be more like product oriented, customer oriented, design oriented. So a lot of these different skills, I think, are going to become blended together. And you're just going to have to find a way to adapt. If you just like sitting down and spitting out code, that's fine. That's going to be something I feel like is more akin to like a Sunday drive or going fishing. Like, it's probably going to feel good. It's going to be relaxing for you. But, you know, that's not going to be a skill people want to pay for. They're going to want to pay for your ability to take a product or an idea or a design and like create something that people want to use.
Yeah, man, the barrier to entry to get an idea into something tangible has just like never been lower. And I think that's really cool. I know that, you know, for blockchain Basecamp, I would never have been able to afford to put that together, to hire someone to put that together. And, you know, here I can at least spin up the prototype and get people in there testing stuff and see if it's even like a worth exploring idea. You know, which, I mean, and I could do it for $50. I think I've spent a grand total of like $65 over the past 4 months, like building that. That's incredible. I mean, you can't even get a consult for $65 with an engineer.
And I love that for you. I mean, I think that the people who have like the best ideas are now going to win out. You're no longer confined to being like the best engineer. Like, if you have the best ideas, they're gonna win out. And I think that that's actually a good thing. You know?
No, for sure.
I think until you get it to a place where it needs like professional level scale or professional level infra to run properly, which to be honest is just kicking the can down the road at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We're just coming up on the
Dude, every day I get another email from one of those multi-billion-dollar companies with really good infrastructure telling me about what happened this week that compromised all of my data that's stored with them. So I don't know. I mean, like you, I wrestled with how to do that for Basecamp for a while, just because I saw the T app happen. I was like, okay, well, I don't trust this. I don't know enough to even know if I trust it or not. Maybe it's great. It might be awesome. I'm literally just like not informed enough to even have an opinion about it. Have you noticed that there are like measured improvements, or is it still bad, or is it good now? Like the quality of the code built by these things, if you then wanted to take it elsewhere and try to do something with it after AI got you started, like if you were to pull the code base out of a Replit build and try to work on it, is it like gobbledygook, or is it workable?
It's definitely gotten a lot better. The biggest jump that I saw was the jump from Claude's Sonnet model. It went from 3.5 to 4. That was the biggest jump. I think so, if I'm getting the models right. It went from there was a situation where it would be back in, maybe this was like January or something, you would say, or maybe even before that, it would be build this thing, and it would just go nuts, and it would tear the whole thing apart, and it would rewrite your entire app, and all you wanted to do was a little thing. And then 4.5 came along. Maybe it was 3. Yeah, I think it was 4 or 4.5, and it got so much better that it was like having another developer on your team. You still needed to code review it and everything, but it got so good. That was the biggest jump. I think lately, some of the jumps we've seen, there's different models now that are coming out and trying to get bigger context windows, meaning it retains more about the conversation that you've had for a longer period of time. So Sonnet has one that has 1 million tokens, which is great. But tools like Cursor let you actually give the same prompt to multiple models, and then you get 5 different answers back from different models. And you can kind of look at each one, and you can say which one was the best. So I'm still kind of figuring out the best way to use that, and I don't really have enough data to tell you oh, this model is better at this thing than that thing. But having the option to kind of just write the prompt once and get 4 different answers back is pretty profound. And I would say the last thing that we've seen a jump in is the background agents, like I mentioned earlier. You have a conversation, you tell it to do something, you go off and you do whatever the heck else you were doing that day. And then there's something happening in the background that you can just come back to and see a full, complete project.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sick.
No, it's super, super cool. Yeah, being able to I'm out and about all day long, to swing by my house once every 30, 40 minutes and check the update, write a new prompt. It can sit there and work 10 hours straight all day long, and I need to be hands-on for about 30 of those minutes, which is crazy.
So what do you use for that? Replit or something else?
Replit, yeah, Replit. And actually, so I saw a comment about, I know they just had a pretty big security update. I got a whole bunch of notices about a new way that it's happening. And actually, right now in the background, there's multiple agents working together on a team, and you can watch them talk. And one of them is security focused, and it will be bringing up security related questions and challenging things and finding vulnerabilities and trying to break it. And basically the entire time that the design agent and the foreman agent and whatever are doing stuff, the security agent's just fucking with them, trying to break everything. And it's really cool. Wow. I don't know enough to know how good it is, but I know that there's I've seen a couple of commercials about it. I know they've been talking about it a lot. And in the interim, Mike, I don't know if you stop me if you've already heard me talk about this, but I built into that an anonymous profile data storing system so that I didn't need to take anyone's information.
Oh, that's great.
Keep their sessions. So now when you start a new session on Basecamp and you're using the simulators or reading through the tutorials or taking the quizzes and stuff, at any point you can decide you would like to pick this up later. And if you just close it right out, it's going to wipe everything and start over. It's all session based. But now you can generate a private key for that session, and it will save it to that key. And then you can just come back in and plug that key back in later. It's 12-digit code, and it will restore that session to that key. That's pretty cool. I'm very excited about it.
That's awesome. And
Yeah,
that's and you built that all with Replit?
Mhm.
It's great.
Adding that whole system, dude, by the time we got, like, I got the thing to where it is, building that entire system in to get it functional the way that it works right now took 3 prompts and about an hour and a half.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's just so cool. Yeah.
And the final 2 were tweaks. It was 1 prompt to actually like implement the system. It was like, you know, I want to build an anonymous profile data. So this is the idea, you know, what do you think? And then the planning agent goes back and forth with me like 2 or 3 times. And then it's like, all right, well, here's my build list. What do you think? And then you just click approve and then it starts.
Yeah. That's really powerful. I've used Codex, which is similar to that. It's like ChatGPT's background agent thing. And I built an app called Wallet Sweep to like take a bunch of your dust tokens and turn it into like ETH or USDC.
Awesome.
But I went to go to like watch Superman with my dad at the movies, and I just told Codex like, hey, build this. Like I told it what I wanted, and I went to the movie theater. We were watching, and then as I got out of the movie theater, I checked it, and it was like done. And then I got home and I looked at it, and it was basically done.
We're just gonna gloss over the fact that that's like an awesome product that we all want.
Oh yeah, and I use it all the time. And then Jake, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jake, but he's like a blue circle on the internet. He's on X and Farcaster, and he's built Base Colors, the NFT project. He built QR, which is like the advertising product. He basically hit me up and he was like, this product is great. Like, what do you like? Obviously, you know, after 1 prompt, it's like not the best. He's like, what do you think about me like running with this idea? Because I put it out there and I said, look, I don't have time to work on this. Like, I want this product just for myself. Somebody please make this better. He's like, what do you think about me running with this? I said, dude, go for it. You don't need my permission. He built this thing called Condo, and now I use it all the time. And he takes like a 3% cut, I think it is, on the dust sweep. But if, you know, hundreds of people are sweeping their dust every day, you know, that adds up.
Awesome.
So he's making money on it, and I'm all the power to him. Like that's an amazing product that I use all the time.
Oh, I need that right now. I would use it too. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's called Condo. It's great. And then he asked for like he put $100 bounty up to like redo the logo. And I took the Warplet meme. I don't know if you've seen that. And I put it in like a French maid dress because it'd be like dusting and sweeping up. And then I was like, this should be it. And he's like, actually, I kind of like the idea of using the Warplet meme. And then he used the Warplet meme. I won the bounty. But then a week later, the Warplet thing is everywhere. And it's still the meta right now. There's so many different projects now using the Warplet thing. And me and him are kind of just like, we definitely kicked this off. Like, we definitely kicked off this trend. Feeling like Paris Hilton, just trend setting right now. But anyway, dude, I think I might have taken up a lot of your time. So I don't know if you needed...
No, I'm glad you hopped off. This was cool. It's good to hear from you. It's good to see you. And I'm always excited to hear about the stuff that you're making and building. I was just going to say, actually, this whole thing was kind of making me think it would be fun to do some sort of like workshop. We could bake this into the next office hours to do like a live workshop on some vibe coding stuff. Like if anyone has an idea you want to work on, we could throw it out there. We could just like workshop one. I'm happy to put it on my Replit tab and spin something up and kind of show you how it works. And then, you know, if anyone else wanted to get into, I mean, we've all got ideas. It would be cool to spin some stuff up. So if there's 100%
interest
in that, let me know. And then Mike, maybe I can bully you into joining.
Yeah. And let me throw this out there here as my parting piece of wisdom and to catch your attention again. It's like another money-making opportunity for you. If you build something cool and you talk about it on Twitter as you're building it or on Farcaster as you're building it, don't wait until the last moment to talk about it. Like as you're building it, say, this is what I'm building. Here's how it's progressing. You can attract eyes. Build it on Base. You can attract eyes. There are funds, grants, programs to help fund really good ideas. So if you're an ideas guy or you want to build something and you build it on Base, there are so many different opportunities to monetize. Go to base.dev. Base.build, I think. Hold on. Let me just get the URL right for you. Definitely base.org. I should know this off the top of my head. Go to base.org and then you'll see different ways to get there's a thing called base build. Base.org/build. There we go. Okay. So many different resources. So don't think like, okay, go ahead.
No, it's cool.
Oh, grants, rewards, base batches is like a whole program to take your idea to like the next level, and if you're ready to like build a startup around it. So I haven't really seen a program that accelerates ideas to businesses quite as fast with quite as much support. So yeah, and all it takes is a really good idea these days. So that's what I'll leave you with.
Sweet. Well, hey man, it was good to see you. I appreciate you for coming up, and thanks for sharing everything you're working on.
Thanks. And thank you again, Alex. Happy Veterans Day, man. I'll see you later.
Man. Thanks, dude. Cool, man. Well, hey, listen, I mean, just to echo what Mike was closing with there, if you have an idea and you want any help with execution, with planning, with ideas on marketing, all that sort of stuff, these are all things you can bring up in the Rise Up community if you want to talk through any of it. I'll help you with literally all of it. These are great questions. I also do have a lot of experience talking to different blockchain ecosystems with their grant programs. So if you want help like applying for grants, let me know. I can help you put some applications together, give you some tips on things that they want to see, stuff to keep in mind as you're, applying for grants and funding and stuff like that. Lots of ecosystems have good grant programs. It's just a matter of kind of, navigating that whole thing. But yeah, reach out, find me, community.rumshq.com. It's about that time to start winding down and heading towards final thoughts. I appreciate all of you for hanging out. I know this was a little bit unconventional, but hey, you know what? I had a ton of fun, and I don't know that we need those wieners. They're both off gallivanting all over the world. They're both on different continents. All three of us are on different continents. Well, Evan's probably, yeah, Evan, I think should be landing like now-ish, soonish. He's been flying all night to Argentina for Dev Connect. So we will hear from him tomorrow morning from the ground in Argentina, where he will give us some updates on how it's all going down there. He's got some events. He's got some talks, a panel, and all that good stuff. So we will bring you all that. And then Will's not doing anything useful. Will's just on vacation. Will's just in one of the most magical places in the world, Japan, just doing the coolest shit ever and making me jealous. Major FOMO. But you know what? Some of us work for a living, so the show goes on, and I appreciate all of you for hanging out. Thank you again to all of our wonderful show partners and sponsors: Jito, Arculus, UnlockDAO, Polygon, the White Whale. The show would not be what it is without you guys, and I really appreciate it. If anyone has any questions, I always put this out, and I haven't gotten any yet. So I'm thinking that we're good, but if I'm wrong, then please let me know. If you have any questions about how the sponsorship process works, what it all entails, how we came to get any of these sponsorships, what they mean, any of that kind of stuff, please feel free to ask. I'm kind of on a personal mission. Actually, here, I'll end with this. This is my final thought. I'm on a personal mission to sort of help try to clean up the sponsor scene in crypto, because it's such a good way to get real brand recognition and to actually start building awareness by having like meaningful, impactful sponsors between creators and brands that are aligned and are trying to work towards the same goal. And it's kind of tough. It's tough out there. If anyone's ever seen a crypto commercial, they're pretty bad. And you're not really that interested. I mean, I'm not interested in watching them. I don't like seeing stuff like that. So that means you got to put some real effort into doing something a little more impactful. And I believe that the way to do that is by using these things in an educational setting to teach new skills with great products and great brands that are working on the same thing, getting to be held up as the example of one great way to do whatever we're talking about here. So the reason that we went after Arculus was because they were social media minded. They were interested in building the brand, doing all the things. And it's a genuinely necessary service, cold storage, learning how to use it. And it's one of the most common questions we get here on the show. It's been that way for years. So that was the pitch. Like, hey, we're here. We have a lot of very interested people who need to learn how to protect themselves and their assets, who are scared of losing things. We're sick of trusting centralized platforms with all of our money. We need a better solution. This question is out there all the time. Let's do some cool shit together. also make me a wallet and make it purple. And they were down. Same thing with Jito. You know, I think DeFi is the future. I think DeFi is the way. It's inevitable. And it's the answer to all of this centralized corruption that we are just constantly stuck in, you know, on the treadmill for. I wanted to teach more about DeFi, and I was like, you know what? This is a great reason to work with a platform that has a ton of options, because there's a bunch of lessons baked in right there. The only thing standing in the way of DeFi's inevitability is a lack of good education. Unlock, cool ass product, man. It's genuinely cool. Anyone can go there and spin up something right now. Whether you're just looking to enhance your own on-chain resume, whether you want to do something for a club that you participate in, whether you're trying to use it for work, for your business, there are applications all over the place. Anytime you need to prove that someone did a thing, there you go. Enter blockchain. And Polygon, like I said, with this UGC campaign, guys, I can't make this clearer. They're paying people, anyone, to create content. If you need any help writing, making a video, you don't have to be in it. You can be if you want to. You could write something. You could make an animation, draw. It doesn't matter. I think all of it is important. Anything genuine is important, and they're paying people to do it. So if you need any help with ideas or workshopping or editing or anything like that, let me know. Dave asked, who's paying for the content? Polygon. Polygon is running a campaign for people to create user-generated content about Polygon. There's really no rules, and there's $25,000 up for grabs right now that is going to be awarded out to creators who make cool stuff. So if you need any help, if you're interested in all, join community.rumshq.com. Ask a question. We would love to help you. Man, hell of a show. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I will see you guys same time, same place tomorrow morning. Evan should be back, and we'll get an update on Argentina and talk about the news, answer your questions, talk about our cool ass sponsors, and get people into the community. So thanks everyone. Until then, rise up.